Hi, Don.
Hey there, how are you?
Good.
We'll see how many people show up today.
Do we have anybody in the wings? I had a hard time getting on. It kept asking for me to sign on with an email address.
Yeah, it's making you guys. Everybody who signs on has to have a Zoom account, so we don't get people in here that's not supposed to be here.
That's very good.
Oh boy.
Just got my new lens.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I got a Tamron aspherical. What is it? 28 to 200.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, we'll play with that this afternoon.
Stephanie's here. We'll find out if she had any trouble getting in.
Nope, worked fine.
All right. Mark is here.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Mark.
Okay. And got Mike.
There's Mike.
Hey, Don.
Hey there, guys. How are you doing? Well, I guess we can jump into a couple of things that we've found that I think has been pretty good, pretty darn good. Getting rid of some over here. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. This is a nice shot my friend Greg did here. Trying to shoot a splashy barbecue sauce, but barbecue sauce wouldn't splash. So he's tried watering it down and stuff, and then that
Are you sharing that?
it didn't work. I'm going to share it now. So he replaced it with the two drumsticks banging each other head on there with it's like some sort of dry rub or something. So pretty interesting.
Making me hungry.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what I had told him to do is to shoot a like a drumstick, right, with the barbecue sauce coming down and just splashing around the drumstick. And he said he could not get it to splash at all. So I'm wondering how we could do that. First thing I thought of is you're going to have to use watered down barbecue sauce. If it's real thick barbecue sauce, it may not splash. And the other thing I thought of is, and Greg may be on here shortly. The other thing I thought of is using a like a squeezy thing, those little ketchup mustard things that you use at the diners, and I mean, if you squeeze it really hard and blast that drumstick pretty hard, you should get a splash, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
I think the watered down is probably going to be the best option.
What's that?
I think watering it down is going to be the best option.
Just take some of the thickness off.
I'll just go find a
Yeah,
Carolina
water it
barbecue
down and
sauce.
heat it up a little bit maybe too, like a syrup thin down when it gets
Oh,
warm.
that's true. That's true. Make it warm. Yeah.
Or find a Carolina barbecue sauce. They're really
Yes.
watery anyhow.
Yeah. Well, that would work if your client was shooting that, or your client was selling that kind of barbecue sauce. But what if they're not?
Oh,
You know, I mean, if they were selling Carolina barbecue sauce, that would work. But what if it was a client that had, you know, maybe it was, I can't even think of the name of my favorite barbecue sauce is a guy, Stubbs barbecue sauce. You know, that stuff's thick, you
Mhm.
know. Interesting challenge though, making it happen. So I just wanted to check in with you guys and find out from you guys. Oh, Carmen's here. Carmen, you said the word addition is cut off on yours, on your PDF?
When I looked at the PDF, it said EDI and a dash on the back
Huh.
cover. Did you guys
Huh.
see that on the PDF of the
Not
book, the
yet.
collective two?
I wonder why it would do that.
Oh, you don't see it when you look at your copy.
The InDesign file does not have it. No. But if the PDF has it, then it makes me wonder what ended up going to the printer. If the printer did it, whatever the PDF did to the file, I'm hoping that the printer did not do it to that file.
oh, the back cover. Yeah,
On the
Yeah.
back cover?
yeah. It says September 2020 EDI dash.
Why did it do that?
Yep, sure does.
Right there.
On mine too.
Here's the final cover. Where's the PDF here?
Yeah, a friend that I had shared the link with said it would be really cool to have a map with everybody pinned on it. So if someone looks at it, they can say, "Oh, this is the photographer in my region that I can contact."
Yeah, it did it on the PDF too, the major PDF.
Oops.
Oh well. Ah, weird.
Just when you thought it was safe to come out of the neighborhood.
I was just going to say to you, if you have any idea how long it took me just to get the URLs for everybody's website. When I said, send me your pictures, send me your URLs, and I got pictures. I got pictures from 40% of people, 60% of people did not send me a website address.
That's crazy.
So I had to get back in touch with them and say, what's your website address? Or actually, I didn't. I just sat here and just started typing them in and found almost everybody's that way.
Well, that's awful.
Yeah. It would be nice to have that. How do I get on the Zoom discussion? Melvin, you just click on the link.
If you do go back and edit it, there's a capital letter that should be on the like dedication kind of page. So, but I wasn't going to say anything because I thought it was already done, but if you do edit it, you might want to fix that too.
Okay, Melvin is being asked for a password. Were you guys asked for a password?
It was in the
No,
link.
he's got to log in. Have him log into Zoom under his account, then it should let him in.
There he is.
All right. This should keep our unwelcome visitors out.
I still shake my head.
Well, you know, if you can imagine how good of a hacker you'd have to be to hack around to get to that, and that's what they use their talent for. Wow.
Yep.
Pretty sad.
Pretty sad. Nothing a good 38 double tap in the head wouldn't fix, though. I'm just saying. I take hackers real seriously. So the question is, the topic is, what are you guys doing? But we did not finish our topic from last week, and we were talking a little bit about last week about what has changed marketing-wise, and what we should all be doing marketing-wise. And one of the things that we talked about, if I can't really remember how far we got in the conversation, was the ability to send art directors and clients more than one email a month. You should be sending emails just as often as you possibly can when you have something to say. They cannot be salesy, cannot be, the old boring, here's my picture, go see my stuff on my website. Tell them something, show them something from your town or your area or what's happening there. Everyone is interested in what is happening with other people. And that's one thing that will work really well. I also think, Carmen's going to laugh because she's been with me for a long time. I made a full 180 change on Instagram. I really poo-pooed Instagram for a long time, and I'm not doing that anymore. I still don't think you should be an Instagrammer. You just use Instagram as a marketing tool. But I think there's a good case to be made that buying a little Instagram love is probably not a bad thing to do. If you can pop $10 a month or $10 a week or $15 a week, you can really get some major reach on Instagram. And target your ads. You can do this on Instagram. You can target to very, very specific people in your zip code, people who own businesses in your zip code. You can do a lot of tremendous focus with Instagram and Facebook advertising. And $10 will buy you a lot of reach. Not nearly what $100 would buy you, but $10 will buy you a lot of reach. And taking advantage of some of this inexpensive real estate right now, because it is inexpensive right now, could really help your business. Stephanie, are you still doing Google AdWords, or did you cut back?
I'm still doing the Google AdWords, and
Okay.
that was where the call from Phoenix, Glendale Surprise came.
Okay.
So
Are you changing your ad up?
I have not.
Change
And-
your ad up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to do that, because you're right, and I should do it as a manual one next time instead of their smart ad, because you can't put negative keywords in a smart ad, I found out. And like people are typing in nude photography, boudoir, and all these other things and coming up with my ad, and then I have to pay, if they click on it. So I need to.
What's a negative?
Keyword is that you can list it out. So if they type in the word boudoir, don't show my ad.
I see.
And
Yeah.
so if you manually create an ad, you can put those in. So that's what I need to do.
Yeah. So you can tell them what to look for, Carmen, and what not to look for.
Got it.
Google has several different smart products. You have to be very careful which one you use. Our rep was telling us they have one called Smart Display, I think it is. And she says basically that's just for people that don't want to do any work, and you just create and you go.
Mhm.
And the problem is it's extraordinarily broad-based, so it might recognize your photography, like Stephanie said, and that's about it. Where, if you're a marketer like what I do during the daytime, that's fine, because we just want to hit everybody in the country. But if you're a small business, you absolutely do not want to use their smart products. And Google, the problem with their system now, it's not like it used to be. It will push you towards those constantly. And it will put things up there and say, hey, you can pay CPA for your sales, instead of paying per click. So why don't you set this up? And it'll tell you that, like I just went through our ads earlier today, and it says you're only 90% optimized. Do this, 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 and this. And every single thing it's suggesting for us doesn't apply, doesn't apply, doesn't apply, doesn't apply, but they are designed to get you to spend the most money, and they don't care if you get a result.
Absolutely.
And our rep actually told us that. She says you gotta be real careful. So just FYI.
They make it really hard to do the manual one. They kind of hide everything.
Yeah, it's not as easy to use. Yeah, exactly. They want to make it as automated as possible because they make a lot of money off of you not setting up correctly. And I've been doing AdWords for 20 years, and I still don't understand it. I'm not kidding. It's that complex. It's always been that way. Unless your job is specifically AdWords 24/7, you're never going to have a full grasp on it. So you just gotta be careful is all,
Vayner has a full department that does nothing but AdWords.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they interface with the graphics people, and they interface with the copywriters, and they interface with the client execs. It's a big deal. And some of those people are the highest paid in digital agencies. If you can really wrap your head around the Google AdWord thing, and the Facebook ads too. There's I would say Facebook ads are like 80% knowing your stuff and 20% totally serendipity. It's like sometimes blue pulls off the page better than red pulls off the page. And being able to track that. And if you guys all know the photographer, our guy, Jan Clear, fashion guy in New York, he's doing video now. Jan was the fourth person hired at a little online bookstore called Amazon, and was hired for search engine optimization. And he worked there for 18 years. His stock options, by the way, are really, he doesn't even talk about them. They're astronomical. He's set for life, and his wife and kids, but he just constantly, that's all he did. And he ended up with 15 people below him just doing search engine optimization and Google. So it's quite an art. So don't beat yourself up if you're not really, really great at it.
No.
You just have to do the best you can. And but at the same time, you're not trying to sell books online like, 97,000 other people are trying to do. You're selling something very specific. Facebook AdWords ads work well as well, but for business to business, I don't know if they're the right place to go. I think boosting Instagram might be more conducive to what you need to do.
Does LinkedIn do ads as well?
I believe so. We don't use them because they're basically going to be a B2B thing, and we're B2C. So
yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I think they do.
Pretty sure they do.
Or at least you can boost your post or whatever, make sure that X amount of people see your post, that type of thing. But that would be a good place to work as well. I'm a big believer in LinkedIn. I'm not a big user of LinkedIn. For where I am as an educator, I don't know if LinkedIn is the best place for me. I think it's a great place for you guys. Really great place for you guys.
As far as content for Instagram, like what type of stuff should we look towards putting up there for, what type of photographs should we be posting? Just finished product shots, or, like finished shots, or like exactly what type of thing would be good?
See, now we're getting back into like the question of what do they want to see? We have
Right.
no idea what they want to see. We have to put up the stuff that we really love doing. So, I mean, that's a B2B play where you're going out to a lot of possible clients. There's not one thing you can put out that everyone's going to like. So
Okay.
you make, you know, if hard product is what you want to do and you love doing it, then I would go, yeah, hard product. But you're not gonna boost every every Instagram picture you put up. You're only gonna boost one a week, for instance. You know, grow slow, grow smart. Yeah, Jay boosted one of his shots for fun for $10 and got 75 new users, new followers. Of that 75, like 60 stuck with him. You know, a lot of people will follow you, and then they want to, you know, they want you to follow them back, and if you don't follow them back, then they dump you because they're just collecting names.
Right.
But he had people that stayed with him because they liked his pictures, so that's pretty good. So it's a good place to be. It's inexpensive. It's really inexpensive as hell when you think about it. For B2B, it's really inexpensive. But your research that you can do before you launch it is going to be something that, you know, does take time. Mike put something in the chat. Oh, thanks, Mike. The research does take time. You know, you can't just pop up and do an ad. You got to really kind of know your area, your zip code, the type of clients that are in your area, who you want to reach, etc. And then you go up and do it, and it'll still take you a little bit of time to do it. And you'll also do it wrong. When you come back and you adjust it, and you do it wrong again, and you come back and you adjust it. Now it's more right than it was wrong, but it's still a little bit wrong. All of that's just part of the nature of the business, which is nice that we can do it for $10 instead of doing it for, you know, $5,000 to find out that we got to tweak it next week or next month. So I really love digital advertising more than traditional advertising. I do love big ads in magazines. I always will. But you put a big ad in a magazine, you have no idea how well it works. Ad agencies will all tell you that we know, but we really don't know. We don't know how many people are going to look at that magazine. We don't know how many people are going to be moved to that page. We don't know how many people are going to go by that page and never even see it. We don't know. We're guessing based on you know, projections, probably by the same people who projected 140 million people were going to die from COVID in the U.S. Those guys are projecting. You know, it's like projections are a joke. No one really knows because you don't know what you're putting in. You're always putting in conjecture. Well, if this happens, this will happen. My old partner used to sit down at his desk back when he was destroying the ad agency. He'd sit down at his desk and he had this other project he was working on. And he'd, well, if I sell 1,000 of these, I'll make this much money. Oh my God, now what if I sold 2,000? Oh Lord. The problem was it was impossible to sell. And it went out of business because you could not sell it. Literally impossible to sell. What the heck's going on here? Oh, I guess my family just came home through the garage. Yep, that's them making all kinds of noise and knocking stuff over. Thought I was being attacked by a herd of giant furry things. Anyway, so there's a real market there for you. But I think Google Ads are a place to be. Carmen, how far is Antibes away from the bigger cities? Are you you're near Cannes, right?
Yes, it's these cities are like well known. They're not very big.
Is there
You know.
manufacturing around there?
Oof. There's a lot of food, winery, perfume,
So
production.
artisan objects.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. See, that would be something where you could with Google, you can really focus right in on I don't know if you have zip codes, but I know you have postal codes, right?
Yeah, we have postal codes.
Yeah. So you could focus right in on those postal codes and know exactly who's seeing those ads. You know that it's people in your town and the town next to you and Con, and those are the people seeing your ads. And maybe you do an ad and you do it for each postal code in your region. If there's 4 or 5 postal codes, do it for each one, see which one polls the best. A lot of
see.
different ways that you can track it. And that is just really good knowledge.
We have a lot of small business, like 2 people and 3 people
Yeah.
size. That do that craft and they do it very well. You know, there are some people I know are internationally known where they receive things FedEx from all over the world for them to do what they do, you know, to work on it.
Well,
Um,
some very small businesses make lots and lots of money because they don't have to share it out, you know.
yeah.
That guy that talked about his digital agency on James Altucher pointed out that when it was just him and his wife, and they had 2,400 clients, they actually made more money than when he had 50 employees doing something like 70,000 clients, because you've got salaries to pay and everything else. You know, he said it would have, you know, money wise, he made more money when he was smaller. So those people still need to market and advertise. They just may not be the big bucks that Paris may offer or London may offer
Right.
with the big ads, you know, because they're going to be in the bigger cities. But still, they need to market. They need to sell.
On a kind of a marketing note, I'm starting to get calls of people that are realizing that they have to up their game online because their businesses are moving online. Like,
Yes, and you should be.
like I'm getting the call as opposed to my telling them you should think about this.
Yep. And you
I
should
think that's
be
pretty cool.
in every way actively promoting that. You have a little studio, right?
You have a studio. In
Do
fact, I'm going to be on an online business expo here next week, and I'll get five minutes. There's 9 speakers, and we'll get 5 minutes of giving quick tips. And my title is "Freshen Up Your Marketing Visuals." So
Excellent.
that's my tip for.
Do you
for
have
the
a little
group.
leave behind or something that you can hand people when they come up, want more info?
No, and it won't. This is a Zoom. It'll be it's not
Or
face to
Zoom thing?
face.
Okay.
It's a Zoom thing.
Then I would say, Carmen, if you can spend a little bit of time, create a page that you
Yes,
can
like a landing
drive them
page.
to, that, you know, like a, what do we call it, a lead page,
Yeah.
and put on there and really hammer home, without being, you know, redundant and everything, but hammer home the need to be online and the need to have the best visuals you possibly can online, whether it's graphic design or photography or illustrations or charts or whatever. They need to have the best they possibly can, because their competitors are going to outdo them, and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, if you sell anything, you know, you sell tchotchke or souvenirs, you need to be online. The people at the little store in Silverton that I was in, Silverton, Colorado, which is kind of it's a holiday town. It's a vacation town. It's like an old ghost town kind of thing. They've got some motels and some stores, and they all sell stuff like, you know, pocket knives and that kind of stuff. I was talking to her, and she said, if we did not have an online store, and she uses Shopify, so we did not have an online store, we would not have made it last year when they had all the floods and people could not get up to Silverton. So that we wouldn't have made it. We would not have made enough money to stay in business. They made it all from their Shopify store, and they're not really even doing any marketing. When I was in Williams with my wife a couple of weeks ago, we're in there, and almost every person, to a person, would walk up to the person behind the cashier there and say, "Oh, I love your store. It's really cute. Do you have a website?" And she would say, "No, you don't have a website yet. We're working on it." You lose a sale, lost that sale. And need to just drive that home, Carmen, that it's, the pictures are great, but you got to be up online, because you can set them up online too, right?
Yep.
Like do a website for them?
Sure.
I'd have to find somebody. I wouldn't do it myself.
No, you just go to Shopify and set them up at Shopify.
Mm.
Pick a template, put your photographs in it. They're done, and they're done. And they'll pay you for it because they don't want to do it.
I see.
They just don't want to do it. Stephanie listened to that same one that I'm referencing now here, and he said what you're selling is the arbitrage of what they just don't want to do. It's not that they can't do it. So what we do is we get into this bad argument place where we're thinking, well, that people only pay for stuff they can't do. They pay for the hard stuff. No, we don't. We pay people to change the tire on our car. We can all do that. We pay people to mow our lawn. It's not rocket science. It's dumb as dirt stuff, but we'll pay them to do it because we don't want to do it. And so they'll look at you and go, "Oh gosh, I looked at Shopify. I just don't know where to start." You know where to start. You're gonna make the photographs for them, so you charge them an extra $1,500 to set up their Shopify store, and they'll gladly pay you, even though they could probably do it on their own in a half day, sitting at the computer. They just don't want to do it.
If you have a basic website template that you like, that you're used to using, Carmen, you can actually just hand them a questionnaire asking name. They basically fill out all the information. All you're doing is taking it from that piece of paper, plop it in the website, putting the images on it, and they're going to look and go, "Oh my God, that's amazing."
Yeah, that's why I love Shopify and I like Squarespace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it on Squarespace too. They pick one of the shop templates. All they're asking for is the image,
Yeah.
the price. They've got everything like, SKU numbers and everything. They've got to give you all of that. You don't make up SKUs. They give you all of that, and they've got inventory control. So they can say, "Well, how many of these do you have?" "Well, I have 40. Well, we'll put 40 and then just tick them down. And when he gets to number 40, it just closes off and says, out of stock. You get an email when you're down to whatever number you've indicated. So you say, "Oh, if I get down to 10, let me know." It'll automatically let you know. Both of those will do it. WooCommerce will do it, which is a free plugin for WordPress. And it's really very simple. But like I say, it's the arbitrage. You could get Divi, for instance, and Divi actually has, I want to say 100 or more pre-built websites in there for all kinds of things. Let's say you get a dry cleaner. Divi has a dry cleaner website. Divi has a pet care website. You go in, change the colors, put your logo in it, you're done.
I'm doing that right now, Carmen, with somebody that makes jewelry. I did 50 pictures, I think, of different stuff that he has, and I set up the Squarespace site for him. He's going into each page and adding information on each of the items. I showed him how to do that. It took me a little bit longer because I hadn't done it before. But if I was to sit down and do one right now for somebody, I could have 50 items up in a couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah, all of you guys can do it. My wife is evil. She just came in from shopping and brought me one of these.
Oh,
So one of two things has happened. She's decided to reward me for being good, or she's upped my life insurance. I'm not sure which.
She's about to give you the honeydew list for this weekend.
You're probably right. Oh, thank you, honey. I haven't had one of these. Oh, that's great. Let me show you what needs to be done in the backyard. heavy emphasis on the word needs to be done in the backyard.
She's going to help you
Of
burn
course.
off the extra calories and sugar from that.
Well, I'll get
Don,
heavy.
there is another possibility that she bought something that you probably will say, are you sure you wanted that?
I think
There
her
might be
plan
a
is
shopping bag over there extra.
I think her plan is to put me in a sugar coma so she can get a new MacBook. That's what I think.
Or
Oh,
she
she
just
didn't give me
remembered.
just one. Oh no, she didn't give me just one. I want you to be clear.
Oh,
Two.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
hell,
double
she just remembered
shopping.
something from 20 years ago.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens after the show. It'll be interesting. So let's get on the other topic now. Is what are you guys doing? What's happening in your world? What are we doing photographically? I will quickly say that it finally cooled off in Arizona, and it is.
99.
Oh no, it was this morning. It was 62.
Wow.
And it didn't get. We didn't go over 75 until about 11 o'clock. We also don't have a sun. We have a brown cloud with a little pink thing coming through it over there, courtesy of a gender reveal in Southern California. I hope if the baby's a girl, they name her Blaze. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But no, the California fires are dumping gazillion amounts of smoke. Washed my car this morning, which was, I just hosed it off and washed it, and the brown, everything turned brown when I cleaned the car off from just the soot in the sky.
You remember we actually talked about this last year. Mike was on the call. We were talking about the problems they were having with fires last year and how they're not doing the controlled burns and getting rid of a lot of this stuff. And we talked about, like, at some point it was gonna be like this.
Yep.
Just didn't think it'd be this
Everybody,
year.
everybody who understands how forests has been fighting like crazy, but it's California and it's not going to happen. They're just different. They've got different values, and now their state is literally burning down. If you haven't seen the map of California, it will actually take your breath away.
Yeah.
Never seen anything quite like it. There's not a. Someone said there's if you took 200,000 acre parcels and overlaid it on California, you wouldn't have one without a fire in it. Wow.
I do have to say hats off to the National Guard for stepping up and going in with their Chinooks and getting out 200 people that were completely cut off.
Yeah. The California, it was 300 people.
Was it 300? I thought I had read 200.
300 people had, they thought they were safe, but the wind shifted and the fire closed off the road and was heading towards them. And the California firefighters said, I don't know how they did it, but the cell phone or whatever, they said, park your trucks as far away from the lake as you can get them and get in the lake. And, because when the fire gets there, it's going to blow your cars up from the gas and everything. And stay in the lake, and hopefully you'll get through it. The Army came in and said, hey, we'll fly them in and get them out. And California firefighter group said, no, that's all right. We've got it handled. And the Army said, oh, you thought we were asking. Then just went in and got them. Heroes, really, here, three trips in, over flames and Chinooks, and overloading the Chinooks by 30%. So, but they got all 300 of them out. I don't know if their vehicles survived it or anything like that, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. So what else is anyone working on?
Printing.
I'm getting ready to go through this safe sets thing that I saw on Judy's website. She's got a certificate for safe sets that she did. And it's supposed to be, let me get back to it. It says,
Are you seeing Safe Sex?
Safe Sets International. It's a COVID-19 certificate. This individual has completed safe sets COVID-19 level for the film and video production industry. So I thought, you know, I was looking at her site because I'm going to do some of the hard light photography for the class tomorrow, and she's a great reference. So I was looking through her website and I saw that she's got this underneath her studio section, and I thought it might be something that gives people the warm and fuzzy feeling about, you know, working.
Why not? Mark, what a great idea. Safe sets.
Yep. SAFE,
And it's
safe sets
international?
Yep, and it's free.
So
Yeah,
it's
it looks like
probably,
it's just some,
you know, do you know what you're doing? Do you know how to clean it up, et cetera? Yeah.
yep.
Well, great. I'd not even heard about that, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, I was browsing through her website and came across where she's got it up there, so I was like, that's a pretty good idea.
Cool.
Yeah,
Who
and
else?
if anybody that's going to do the class tomorrow that hasn't done a photo yet is trying to think of something to do with mixing hard light and soft light, go to Judy's website.
Well, we were all kind of shocked. I don't know if Stephanie was on that call, right, with Judy, and we asked her how she did the little shadows, and you know, here I'm thinking she's, you know, got some gear and she's doing it. And so I just take a speed light, put it all the way down, and I just walk around and do a speed light. I'm like, really? Maybe I shouldn't have asked, Judy, because in my head I had it so much more advanced than that. But that's all she does is puts her speed light on 30-second power and just holds it at different places, makes the shot, looks on the screen, and says, oh, I like that, and she's done.
I think, didn't she say she sets up the softbox first to get the shadows and then did the hard light?
Well, the key is the shot has to look good under the softbox.
Yeah.
The shadow is not the lighting for it. It's the extra little kicker. It has to look good under the box or the Octa or whatever she's using to light it up. Then she adds that little bit of kick. Because when you look at her shadows, they're not 2 stop shadows. They're a third of a stop shadow or a quarter stop shadow, just a little bit of pop. And then if it makes something a little bit too bright on it, she just takes it down in Photoshop. Or Lightroom just brings it down a little bit. Bring the highlights down, shadow stays. And it's really, really beautiful the way she works. It's 50% technical prowess. She's a very good photographer, knows her stuff. And it's 50%, hey, this would be cool. I wonder what would happen if I shot the light through a cheese grater, you know? And instead of thinking, what would it be like, she'll go get a cheese grater or 3 or 5 and shoot them again, get through any damn cheese grater. That's the way she shoots. And that's why she has gone so far and so fast that it's really amazing. Most people take years to get what she's done in literally 10 months. So
And the sheer amount of work she creates is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't think she takes a day off.
Well, you know why? Because she'd rather do that than anything else in the world. When you say when she says I really love doing what I'm doing, you have to understand she really loves doing what she does. That is, she would do that. You know, her sons come to visit her now and then, and they always tease her, we're going to come down, Mom, so we can help you shoot. You know, so, my sons are here. Let's go to a movie. And we get back. You can hold the fill light over there. It's like, you know, so she's just totally married to it. Fabulous photographer. And yeah, you're right. I think someone else pretty good shadow is Yakil Odell.
Yep.
Pretty darn good with shadows. Remember, it was Judy that I was sitting in that conversation that they were having with all the reps at the workbook. And she was saying, natural light, if you're shooting food by natural light, you're yesterday's news for ad agencies. This was before COVID, remember. This was before COVID, just before COVID. If you're shooting food with natural light, you're yesterday's news, because there is so many there are so many natural light food shooters in any given town. And so that's when they were loving on her, because she started doing the thing with the speed lights, and she was doing stuff with tiny octoboxes, little 12-inch octobox as a final kicker, throwing some soft this way or what have you. And she was blowing up on Workbook. She still is blowing up on Workbook. So that was a nice little inside thing that we shared with everybody. Get those shadows in there. Get the strobes out. Strobes and food in the U.S. Strobes and food are not that popular yet. Or if you are using strobes, you're still doing it, making it look like natural light. And the tendency is now to get a little shadow in there, get a little direction to it, get a little poppy. So I'm going to try to do some stuff now that it's cooling off in my studio, which is not air conditioned, but in my studio, I have so many speed lights that I could open like a speed light emporium. Swear to God, I could sell half my speed lights and still have more speed lights than I need. Then I started thinking, well, what if I start doing things with a lot of people do things with 2 speed lights. What if I'm starting to do things with 10 speed lights? Could that be cool? I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, when Amazon starts selling speed lights for $24 free shipping, I just couldn't help myself. I don't buy a lot of cameras, but God, I love lights. So it's like, hey, Don, what you got in that softbox? It's pretty powerful. Yeah, I have 127 speed lights in there.
I didn't realize what I was getting myself into with those Speedotrons. Those things are huge. I got 3 of them sitting on the floor downstairs now, and they take up half the floor space.
What do you got, the 2401s?
I got 2403 and 2 2401. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
they'll also, by the way, you don't have to go to the gym. You carry those things around.
Right.
They're like giant kettlebells with handles. I mean,
I don't need to go to the tanning salon either anymore. I just stand in front of that and pop it.
Yeah, they're really powerful. Do you have the one that has do you have the new one that the 2403 has the dial, right? Where you can dial it down power wise?
I think all of them do actually. I have 2 of the 2401 SXs and
they have the dials.
Newer. What's that?
They have dials, or I thought they were still asynchronous.
Well, they all have the switches, and I think they all actually have the dials, so you can go down 2 stops just on the dial, which is. So if you isolate it out, you can get down to 400. You can get down to 50 watts power.
Okay.
So I mean, you can really take it way down if you want, but I just leave it at 2400 watts and just blast the shit out of stuff.
Well, if you're doing stuff with that low ISO, you
the collodion, yeah. So
if you need to heat up Don's pie, you can stick that in front of it too, and pop it off a few times. And
well, I've got one of those 105 heads. And it actually has 4 bulbs in it, and it has two connectors. So you connect one to 2400 watts, one to 24. You got 4800 watt seconds coming out of one head, and it does. It sounds like a muffled gunshot.
It does sound like a gunshot. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You have to wear hearing protection?
No, it's not. No, it's not that loud. But I mean, it has that crack to it when it goes off, and.
When I was working in LA with a photographer, I always forget his name. It'll come to me in a minute. He had 4 8,000 watt Balcars.
Oh my God.
Now, these were, and they went into one head, by the way.
Oh my God.
You had 8,000 watt Balcar, and you had 2 switches, one to cut the half from full power to half, and a second switch that cut half power to quarter power, and that was it. So on quarter power, you had 2,000 watt seconds. So
holy shit.
they were all mounted in the ceilings. These things into silks in the ceilings. And he would do like remember Bartles and James, the wine ads, and you'd see the double page spreads, and it'd be the 2 old guys, farmers, sitting on the porch.
Mhm.
Remember the two Bartles and James? One guy spoke, the other guy didn't, and they'd be sitting on the porch in their rocking chair, right? That was all shot in the studio, guys.
Oh,
Oh, he never Reed Miles. He never left the studio. We built the inside of a 737, 6 rows of seats here and 2 seats here, so we could get the shot. And then we built the curved fuselage, painted it. Took a week to build the set because you couldn't shoot in an airplane. There was no room to light it. You know, it's just you're done. That was for Korean Airlines. He just did amazing things, but he had 4 of them. And I swear to you, when they went off, when he'd take a shot and they went off, Hoover Dam would go, whoo, whoa, whoa. I swear. It would flicker. Vegas would flicker when this guy was shooting in LA. He shot everything on 35 millimeter Kodachrome 25. I would have thought, looking at his work, that he was shooting everything on 4x5. He shot everything he did on 35 millimeter Kodachrome 25. Amazing.
with Leicas?
Nikons.
Oh, wow.
Nikons. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You may know him also as the world's most famous jazz cover graphic designer. He did all the covers for Blue Note for almost 8 years. So if you know Blue Note Records, you've seen Reed Miles's graphic design. So he was a graphic designer and a photographer. And by the way, if you remember Bartles and James,
Yeah.
they were the 2 owners of the ad agency that handled Bartles and James. That's who the actors were.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
It's one way to make sure you keep them coming back. Make yourself the brand.
Yeah, make yourself the brand, and they go, we're looking at other agencies. Yeah, no, you're not. You may think you are, but you're not.
Wasn't Bartles and James the one with "We'll sell no wine before it's time"?
Yes, that's right. And if that stuff had to sit and age for a week, it would, by God. That was the stuff you'd buy in a bottle for like 89 cents. You know, it was just, anyway.
Tuesday was a good year.
The screw top.
Screw top wines.
Oh, hey, so you asked what we're doing, Don.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've already said this, doing the video for Udemy. Just a couple videos in, I learned something, and there's no continuity between what I was doing, so I'm reshooting everything now.
If you haven't storyboarded your work, you cannot teach it. You've got to sit and put it. Where's this going to be? These guys.
I learned to draw then.
No, just sticky notes.
Oh.
So that you know that you've got to teach this before you teach this.
Oh yeah, no, I have that. Yes, yeah, correct. I have that all laid out. I actually have the outline all done. It's just now it's just a matter of actually video and so on and so forth. And I did 2 of them or 3 of them, I can't remember anyhow. And I realized after the last one, the audio sounds different in all of them. And there's no, I had an ending screen on one of them, but not the other 2.
What are you using for audio, Mike?
Well, now I've got a lav mic and a Olympus recorder, so that way, even if I capture it on the camera, I'll mark it and do it separate. You know.
Yeah.
I used to do
that.
That
also helps, by the way, when you do it that way with the separate recorder. Like I use this little Tascam.
Mm-hmm.
When you do it this way, when you do your voiceover, it matches as well.
Correct. Yeah.
So many people will shoot their video on a lav, and then they get into the voiceover and they're using their studio mic next to their computer. It doesn't sound the same. So I use the same thing for everything now. I haven't put out my next video yet, but it works. What's happening with this is your video on doing the process that you're using?
I'm starting with cyanotypes.
Okay.
Because I wanted to, my introductory video on Udemy, Skillshare, whatever, to be, or class, I should say, to be something that's accessible to anybody.
Okay.
And teaching platinum printing is to a very, very small group. Whereas cyanotypes, a 5-year-old can do it. It's safe. They can enjoy it. Parents can do it. Anybody can do a cyanotype. So if they really enjoy that, then maybe they look at the more advanced stuff when I do it. You know,
you gotta remember, you got like 20 billion people. I don't know how many people are on the planet, but you got billions of people.
yeah,
And you have more people, you have more millionaire Indians in India, more millionaires than the entire population of the US.
yeah, I believe it.
360 plus million millionaires in India. So when the Indian guy called me and said, we'd like you to think about teaching the class, I was like, okay. We're talking now. And they just, the market is so huge.
Yeah.
You could easily sell a lot of things, or you can put your life's blood into it and not sell a single one, because it's the last part of anything that we do is the part we can't control.
Yeah.
And so just focus on getting it done, and that's a win.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of the plan. But yeah, I want to do it right. So I don't want audio to sound weird, across multiple, videos. Because personally, that would annoy me, and I would stop watching them. So I figure if it's going to annoy me and I'd stop, why wouldn't anybody else?
Yeah, I just saw Anna Gunn is here. I haven't spoken to Anna in 2 years. What's up, Anna?
Hey Don, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, plodding along.
Good. How's Mac?
He's also plodding along. I think it's one of these weird times, isn't it, at the moment, where everybody's kind of stuck, reanalyzing what they're doing,
What is there?
taking a side step and plodding
What is
along.
Is there something going on, Anna?
Well, I few things actually. I think it's like start with 2020. That will be a good start.
Yep. Yeah. I got a little bit of everything. California's
How are you
burning down.
guys on the fires? Are you avoiding fires and smoke?
No, we have several fires in Arizona, but we are surprisingly, knock on wood, better than we've been in previous years, which is shocking to me because we are so dry that we have a palm tree here in the valley that grows called a Queen Anne palm, and they're all dying because it's been so hot. There's a point where they can't take the heat, even if it's just air temperature. And all around our neighborhood, all the Queen Annes are either dying or dead.
Wow.
It's really been really, really hard. But California is literally a record-setting event over there. And Colorado went from having 2 little fires to having something like 60 fires in a week.
Gosh.
And we were saying, I mean, if I went outside with my computer right now, you would swear it was dusk. Sun would be down, and it's not. It's noon. Sun's up there, and street lights stayed on for an hour longer this morning because we had no sunrise. So, yeah, it's pretty tough. You throw all the other crap into the mix, and it's just been terrible. So, but you guys getting along, just keeping your head down and moving, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at another lockdown before winter, so that kind of means that we're planning and preparing stuff. And obviously, the main event of our year was cancelled this year, so that was the festival out the window.
Yeah.
So, and I think I'm 80% certain 2021 will also be cancelled for us. If nothing else, logistic wise, it's not feasible to plan. We would normally be in planning stages for the next year, and that's not going to happen.
That's really the double whammy of all this, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like in New York City right now, 50% of all the restaurants are closed. When I say they're all closed, 100% of them are closed. 50% of them are gone, right? Now, who's going to start a restaurant right now? Not knowing what 2021 is going to bring, that would be like the most foolish thing in the world to do anything brick and mortar or anything with any kind of long term. We're all just kind of trying to figure out how do we get from here to there, and then we'll have to regroup and figure out how to get from there to the next place.
You know what's interesting though is that I think, as with all things, it's easy to concentrate on what isn't happening, but the things that are happening are that our tourist industry here is dead, is obviously broken because people aren't coming here. So ingeniously, people are moving everything online, which means that suddenly we're busy with photo editing, we're busy with video, we're busy with getting people's footage to us and re-editing it so that they can have virtual spaces. I'm testing virtual exhibition spaces. I'm testing virtual conference event software. The need for visual storytellers is like massively growing. And I think what's happening now is because people who didn't realize that they need to transfer everything online are now realizing that they not only need to invest, they need to heavily invest. The prices that Europeans weren't being able to charge before, when I'm throwing out my quotes now to people are now understanding that if my price is expensive for them, it's because the quality will be better than their cousin, which wasn't always the case before.
Sure.
Before they would hire their brother or their cousin or their relative, whereas right now they understand that their relatives aren't actually going to be commercially viable in what they produce, whereas I will be.
But before it was kind of a luxury or kind of
Right.
a side thing. It is now their business.
Right.
And that's what I don't know if you were on when we were talking to Carmen about the businesses around where every photographer, I believe, should know how to set up a Shopify, set up a Squarespace. You know, it's not hard. You can learn it in an afternoon and get out there and say, not only will I shoot, well, Mark is doing it right now. Mark Lund that you see there, he is shooting the jewelry for a custom jeweler and building the Squarespace website because the jeweler realizes he can't go back to that brick and mortar. And even if he does, he's going to be like in limbo for the next at least year, possibly. I think mentally we're going to be like this for the next 5 years. Like, I don't know if I want to invest in anything that's going to be shut down by the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Shopify ran a thing and said they had set up more stores between March and end of June that they did the entire 2019, which was a record setter for them.
Right. And I'm totally with, I'm not only doing that, but I'm now consulting for clients who have back catalogs of images, and I'm telling them your images that you have don't need to be edited just for today. They now need to be edited at least 5 or 7 different ways for each of your social media, for your shops. You need to extract them onto white. You then need to put them into lifestyle. So I'm telling them exactly what they need to do with a catalog they may already have, which then gives them more editing work. So it's one of those things that you're right about Shopify, but also anybody who has a catalog of images of 5 years or more, there's options of putting them onto like the t-shirt market is blowing up right now. So there's all of the Redbubble, all of that. You need to get on there and create your accounts on there so that you go through your back catalog and see what might be able to be printed on t-shirts, because that's that's your passive income streams. You're talking there to Mike about Udemy and Skillshare courses, but there's at least 5 or 7 other different passive income streams that as photographers now need to be
and
up on, 'cause they're blowing up.
yeah, and Mike, when you have your class, you're not limited to Udemy or whoever you're doing. You can put that on Udemy, Skillshare, Domestika. There's one in India that, like I said, India has more customers for their product than Udemy and Domestika and Skillshare in America have on theirs. They got more on one platform.
Yeah.
So there's tremendous operations out there that can happen, but it's time consuming. Anna has done she and Mac did a great little. Is it still running on Udemy?
Yeah, we've got a couple of courses on Udemy, but I made the mistake of, in my intro for Udemy, is saying welcome to this Udemy course. So I would suggest never do that, because you can't cross-platform them afterwards.
Yeah.
Re-edit it, but as you've just said, consistency is quite key for the courses.
Yep.
But I love Domestika. That one's also one that's kicking off right now.
Yes, it is. I bought a couple from Domestika. I've been very, very happy. Their prices are the right price point, and I have felt on all 3 that I bought that I got my money's worth by the 3rd video or 4th video in. That's all I can ask for. Everything else is great. So in fact, I was going to say all of you should be thinking about a course. All of you. It's fun to do. You'll learn while you're doing it, and you'll have something that you can send out there. And maybe you sell a few, and maybe you sell a lot. Who cares? You've done it. You've created something, and it's put out in the world. So,
The funny thing about it, Don, is well, it was your post in the advanced class that got me started on this, and which has led me to looking for antique negatives to show, for demonstrations. And it's really, I've got a bunch coming that I want to share with you guys when I get them, because they're really unique. I mean, they're from the turn of the 1900s, and some of them are really obvious what they are. Others kind of have a backstory. And there's a few that, there's one I know that's coming with a blacksmith and his helper and his customer and some kids. And the seller has provided all the names of all the people in the photo, the dates of death, and a little backstory. So, I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. This all started just from seeing your post in the advanced class and deciding to go down that path.
excellent. Well, I'm glad to do that. I'm glad Anna dropped by. Anna, we do this every Friday. We just chat. Sometimes we have a topic, and sometimes we just get on and chat about photography. So join us.
Okay, perfect. I'll pop in more often.
All right, everybody. I'm going to say goodbye. Photo Talk Friday is come to an end, and I will see you all next week. Take care.
Have a good one, Don.
Bye-bye.
Bye.